might not need to use this. I'll see how I feel. All right, okay. First of all, thank you everyone for coming. This last couple of days has been like crazy for me, honestly. Like, my roots here in Gary is pretty dynamic. Everyone in my family is from Gary, Indiana. And, when I was in high school, we had like, obviously, like every small town, there's a lot of violence, things happening. I had a couple cousins that was killed here. And shortly after I was a basketball player, my mom was like, "We getting the hell out of Gary." And at the time, she won the numbers, and she won $2,500. I remember I came home from school, and she was like in the kitchen smiling. I'm like, "What's going on?" You know what I mean? And she was like, "We leaving." And I ended up, she bought a car, and she knew a friend that lived in California at the time, and this is like an old friend, like somebody she done dug up. And she like, "Girl, I'm coming out there." And we got in the car, packed up everything, put the dog in the car, and drove. And remember just being in the back, like, "Man, this is crazy." You know what I mean? Um, Eventually, we got to California, and I got out there. Didn't really realize what was going on. She was dropping me off, and she was gonna go back. You know what I mean? And take care of whatever she needed to take care of. So I ended up sleeping on these people's floor for like 2, 3 months. I'm like, "Man, I got to get out of here." You know what I mean? School started. I was just programmed to not understand, another world. Eventually, I was like, "I got to go back." You know what I mean? So they figured it out. I ended up going back, coming to Gary. And when I got back to Gary, I was like, "Oh, I got to get out of here." um, my dad, my sister, everybody I, have as a family was here. My cousin Johan is in the back there. His whole family, he was here in Gary, Miller, you know what I mean? And when I went back, I decided that I would, fight through whatever it felt. I'd never been around, white kids and Chinese kids. It was just different. And anyways, I cut my teeth out there, man. I played ball, ended up getting a scholarship, uh, going to San Diego State. And then from there, I ended up going and playing overseas. And it was in Germany when I was playing. I didn't speak the language. I was in East Germany. And at the time, my girlfriend was sending me this before y'all young, this before they had Netflix and all the stuff y'all got now, phones, and so she was sending me DVDs, and I would watch. After practice, you ain't got nothing to do. I would watch 6, 7, 8 movies like 2, 3 days. I'm just watching movies. When those movies would run out, they used to have like the bonus features on the DVD where they have like the making of, the director's commentary, and I found myself being like, "What's this shit on here?" And I turned to him and be like, "Damn!" So I became like fascinated with how movies were made. Now I'm telling you this story because earlier here in Gary, anytime a movie came out, that's what we did. You know what I mean? We would sneak our food in. You know, take whatever. She stop at the store and put that shit in there. And we in the theater. And when I got a little older, we would movie hop. You know what I mean? Go see as many movies as we can. And I didn't realize at an early age that I was a fan of film. And there was no counselors, there was no people around. And this situation is real today, where you can see a kid that's interested in something and they don't understand how to point them in the right direction. Okay? What does that mean? A kid in the lunchroom beating on the table and the other kid is rapping. That kid's a producer. Kid rapping is an artist. You know what I mean? Kid in the back of the classroom screaming and yelling all the movie slang. Every movie he know all the shit to it, right? He's a writer or an actor. You know, the dude in the school that got all the drip know how to talk to all the girls. He's a manager or a lawyer. So being able to understand these functions in young kids is important now. So I try to go around and explain to people this world first before I talk about film, so people could understand what they might be in this space. So yesterday I told a bunch of the kids, do they know the biggest thing that the U.S. exports yearly? What is the biggest thing we export as people in this country? What do we do? right? And a bunch of kids had a whole bunch of answers. I was like, oh no, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. Guns, coffee, you can whatever you want to name. The biggest thing we export is cinema, film, and entertainment. We export Avengers, and whatever movie you love, that's what we do. This weekend or last weekend, Venom and 007, those movies in 10 days will gross close to $1 billion domestically and internationally in the course of 2 weeks, right? And then that content then streams across hundreds and thousands of pieces of platform. Eventually, to get to your phone, clips to get to you, Showtime, Stars, Downstream, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, right? So this is the business. They're making six, seven, 800 movies a year. Some of them you see up there, some of them you don't see up there, but it's content. Everything you have right now is driven by content, period. That phone doesn't work unless someone creates content for it. The TV doesn't work. The radio doesn't work, right? It's like almost like a barbershop, right? Everybody need a haircut, right? So content is king. And when you understand that business, then you understand, okay, that might be something that I could creatively get into, right? Out of all the films and television that is made, put that on a 100% scale, only black and brown people make up around 7% of the people making the content. Now we make up around 89 to 91% of the people buying the content. All right. So opening weekend of a movie, when it makes 80, $90 million, that's black and brown people buying tickets. If you understand how the business works, black females 26 to 48 is the biggest audience for film, the biggest audience for movies, right? So when you start understanding that, you be like, well, damn, why are we not in that business? So my job is to try to make y'all get in that business. Get in that business. So let's put that aside for a moment, and now let's talk about like us as people, okay, and why I'm here. The biggest thing that I've learned is the biggest problem we have is we don't work together. We we for some reason, and I like to call it a slave mentality. For some reason, it can only be one when we do stuff. Think about how everything is built right now, right? We pit everybody against everybody. Michael Jordan better than LeBron, right? This boxer better than that boxer. That rapper better than that rapper. We the only people that are always in competition, right? So the industry realizes that. So when you think about stars, we could name six of our biggest stars. You could name Denzel. You could name Jamie Foxx. You could name Will Smith, right? But then you're gonna get to the end of that line. You're gonna be like, all right, that's them. But then if you get ready to name any other stars, it's infinity. You could Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks, you know what I mean? George Clooney. You could keep on going, right? And part of what I'm trying to educate us on is we need more Denzels. We need more Spike Lees. We need more Jeffrey Fletchers. We need more Viola Davises, right? We need more Ava DuVernays. So what I want to encourage you guys, and like I said, I just want to talk about it so you understand a little bit of why I'm here, is because the idea is to empower each other. So if you have a dream or a thought or an idea about film or cinema, and it's not about just being in front of the camera. When we make a movie, I've made 14 films, all right? So everything from Traffic to The Intruder to Black and Blue to Meet the Blacks 1, Meet the Blacks 2, you know what I mean? All these films, I'm hiring 120, 130 people every time I work. And what I try to do is each system in a movie has a union. Okay, this is not like just do anything, right? There's a system. So if you want to be in the union, you have to work a certain amount of hours. Now, what happens is when you work those hours, now you begin to get benefits. Now rates go up. Okay, so if you are, say, someone that cuts hair, or you're a young lady that know how to do hair, you're needed in Hollywood right now because they don't have they don't have enough hair artists to do black cast hair. So for a long time, Nia Long and Regina King, and you can think of, they've been complaining like, I get to a movie set and it's all white women here and they can't do my hair for a scene. So now they got their girlfriend up there doing their hair, right? So the union is going like, oh, we can't do that no more. So we got to actually hire black hair artists, right? So now you could move around from movie to movie. How do you get into that business? Basically, you create a reel or create a tape. I was saying this yesterday. There are 70 TV shows going on in Chicago. 70, right? That means they're hiring close to, I would have to guess, 4,000 people every 6 months in that city to work in this industry. You would be crazy not to be up there with a, you know what I mean, with either a resume or I do this or I do that or can I PA, right? Now PA means, obviously some of you guys might know what that is. That's someone that comes and works for free. All right. That means that I'm interested in this business. I'm interested to see how it works. But what the PA actually represents is the PA is the next person to actually get a job, right? You got to get into a system. So the way to get into a system is you have to first get involved. So you might not have a talent. You might be an actor. You might be whatever it is you want to do, but you might be like, all right, I'm going to go up there, drive my car, go work up there. I'm going to get the coffee. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But what it allows you to do is have a bird's eye view of how it all works because it's a big machine. Directors, what's the etiquette? Writers, what are they doing? Actors, what are they doing? What does this mean? What is a call sheet? You know what I mean? Why do I have to be here early? What's a crew call? So it allows you to start seeing the dynamics of what that is. Now, if you get into the space the right way, a hair artist could make $100,000 to $500,000 a year. An actor could make anywhere from, a minimum of $50,000 an episode, $10,000 an episode, up to $10 million a year. $20 million if you become an A-list somebody gigantic, right? There is no boundaries to what that is. If you make cool clothes or you love dressing or you somebody that's always like, yo, I look fly all the time, right? You might be a costume designer, right? That's what Ruth Carter is. She won an Oscar. So when you look at movies like Black Panther, there is a lady sitting back there going, this will be fly if y'all put this on, that on. They don't know how to do that. You do, right? So when we start talking about the culture, which I was talking about yesterday, part of the biggest thing we have to understand is we create culture. Y'all hear this all the time, but don't nobody really listen to it, right? Until you get into the space I'm in, where you be like, damn, they just stealing the shit, right? It's like, it's blatant. Or you be like, damn, they just TikTok. Kids get a song, do a dance. The young white TikTok kids see it, they mimic it, they getting paid, right? You take a shoe, rip the side out, put a tag on it, you got an off-white. That's us doing that. Customize a hat, put the thing on the side, the rapper rap with it. That thing is gone. You got the Kentucky Fried Chicken Colonel rapping, right? You got the Samsung multi-billion-dollar company with a little black girl doing the dance on the this. They're selling what you guys are creating. So now with the emergence of equality and people finally breaking through this bridge because of George Floyd, right? Things have been seen differently. So all you young kids out here, you guys got a new shot because for a long time didn't nobody want to talk about it. But now it's on front page and everyone is actually seeing it. And that's also through technology. The fact that the phones communicate, Facebook communicate, we all can now talk and see things at once. It used to be that Trump energy where they be like, that didn't happen. And they know, and everybody, oh, that didn't happen. Right? But now it's like we can all see it and we can all feel it. So I'm saying that because as you guys understand technology, then you should also understand that's a brand. So if you have an Instagram, if you have a TikTok, if you have a Facebook, that channel dictates who you are and what you're trying to do. So if you're trying to get in the industry, you need to program your channel to say, I want to be in the industry. So that means all you have to do now is follow people that are in the industry. Follow the director if you're an actor. Follow all the movies you like. Follow them. Follow the studios, right? Follow the producers. It's that simple. Go on your thing and start clicking Paramount, Warner Brothers, you know what I mean? New Line, oh, this movie, that movie. And all of a sudden, that phone will become a magnet for everything you want to do because it'll start serving you nothing but film energy. You'll start seeing what directors are posting, writers are posting, actors are posting. You'll start seeing people audition on their pages, right? Transform it to that. If you're interested in fashion, it's the same exact thing. Transform the channel to fashion. Sometimes you got to get off of there from, holding money to your head and, putting your grandbabies on there. You got to turn it, you got to turn this thing on because it actually has even the playing field for us. You can now compete with $1 billion company. I can name 7 people that I know that I could pick up the phone, and if I ask them all to post something at once, it'll move the entire culture. Period. Y'all won't even know what happened. You just be like, damn, I guess it's going down, right? If Snoop, uh, Kim Kardashian, and King Batch posted the same thing within 14 hours, it would take over the whole news cycle. These are people that are controlling together collectively 100 million people in an instant, right? Nicki Minaj has 170 million people following that page. So when she puts on a piece of clothes or a piece of hat, 17 million girls go get that hat, that clothes, that thing, they're ordering it. So I'm explaining this is all here in technology. For the business, everyone here, if you guys are interested in any part of film, I'm gonna tell you right now, the door is wide open. They're looking for black artists, they're looking for black writers, they're looking for young kids that could be in movies and TV shows, and they're trying to grow that culture. And the way you get in is exactly what I said. If you're interested in acting, monologues are the biggest thing you could do. And look, my mom, let me tell you, this is a crazy story. Y'all gonna be blown away. My mom is sick now, but Gary native, loud as hell, right? I had started trying to make movies on my own, so I'm self-taught. So I get my first movie up and second movie up, and I'm thinking I'm doing it, whatever. Now she a Tyler Perry fan, so she be like, "Ooh, Tyler Perry be writing me letters." So I said, "Mom, like Tyler." For over the course of 3 months, she was telling me Tyler Perry's talking to her. So I'm going like, "See, he not, Mom. Like he write these letters to everybody." You know what I mean? She like, "No, it say my name on it." I said, "No, he. This is a." So I stopped doing it because you can't explain to her. I'm like, that's not real. So, anyways, Tyler Perry has a casting call. And he puts this thing on Facebook and says, "Hey, I'm looking for female 50 to 65 years old for a co-starring role in my movie." And she gets the paper. I'm trying to shoot a movie. She comes up there like, "Look what they got a casting call. I want to go. She want to act." So I'm like, "All right, well." I'm laughing. I'm not. This ain't really serious. And I'm like, I look at the thing. I say, "Ma, this in Atlanta." So she's like, "I know. Buy my ticket." So I'm like, so I'm like, all right. So I end up I break down and I buy a ticket. So now I probably, I might tell you might know. I'm like, man, my mom tripping, man. She finna go to Atlanta, so we got a hotel for her. So I'm expecting her to like fly down there. She gonna do this audition. She gonna come on back. It's gonna make her day. She get on the plane. She fly out there. She has no experience, by the way, just so y'all know. She gets there and she calls me the next day and she says, "All right, I'm getting ready to go in here." And I said, "Okay." She gave me the lines. I had ran the lines with her for like a day before she left. Just sit me and her in the kitchen. She did really good. I'm like, "Man, that's good. You got it." So I changed like 2 words as a director. I'm like, "Don't say that. Say this." You know what I mean? So she was like, "I'm gonna say the words." I said, "You got it." So she go in there. Hour later, she called me back. She was like, "Ooh, I killed it." And I said, well, what? I said, did you meet Tyler Perry? She was like, yeah, he sat right there. He looked me in my eyes. I said, did he say something? She said, no, but his eyes told me that I did good. So now I'm like, all right, Bob. I'm like, well, look, the plane gonna bring, you flying back tomorrow, whatever. So like an hour later, she called the phone and she said, guess what? And I said, what? She said, they want me to come back. So now I went, oh, because now I'm like, if you come back, that means that the director then said, I like her. All right. So I said, when you go back? So she said, like in 2 hours. So I'm gonna get something to eat and I'm gonna go back. You think I should say the same words? I said, say exactly what you said. So she go back, she do it again. This time she come out, she say, Tyler Perry said he liked me. So now I'm on the other side of the phone, like, yo, this is crazy. So I say, what they tell you to do? She was like, I don't know yet, but I need to stay one more day. So I'm like, okay. So about an hour later, they call her again. They say, hey, look, we need you to stay for the week, and we gonna pay for the week. So now I'm going, damn, my mom did went down, my mom did went down here and got a movie. Like, man, she went in there one more time, and she ended up booking the movie. So this is it gets better. It gets better. So she books the film. 68 years old. She's playing, and this movie ends up being Medea Goes to Jail, which is Tyler Perry's biggest movie of all time. She plays like, this is gonna be funny, but it's not funny. She plays like a prostitute lady that's at a party, and she ends up meeting with the family. Like they come home, there's this big party going on, and she has around 6 or 7 lines to the family when they come in. And she does it. She goes out there. She films it. She does all the stuff. She comes back. So now I'm shook because now I'm like, damn, this is crazy. Like she went online, filled a thing out, got a piece of. This is what I'm telling y'all, and flew down there and got in the movie. So now the movie comes out and it go crazy. It's making 100 whatever million dollars, right? Now I'm a little bit popular because I'm a director. I'm doing stuff in my community, and man, we start walking through the mall one day, and people just be like, "Oh, are you the lady from the Tyler Perry movie?" Everywhere we went, she became a star, and she ended up booking almost 11, 12 more roles after that, right? So I'm saying this, I'm using my mom as an example, but I'm telling you, you're never too old. Acting, performance, film, television deals with people of all looks, all weights, all ages, all faces. That's how film is done. That's what art is about. Young, old, small, medium, tall, it doesn't matter. So you never know if you got that thing that that director is looking for, period. Right? Anyway, so going forward, as we begin to pitch more about the industry, the biggest thing that I would also leave you guys with is this: don't be afraid to get out of the box you're in. Okay? Young kids that's in here, y'all don't get put in a box, right? The reason that I was able to be who I am right now is because I was a basketball player. I thought that was my life. Like, all I want to do is hoop. You know what I mean? I don't work no job. I'm that dude, right? Like, man, you go down there and get a job at? No, I'm cool. I hoop. You know what I mean? So that was my mentality, and that mentality helped me a great deal because basketball ended up showing me everything I needed to have in life. It became a vehicle. Sometimes the thing that you think you're meant to do and to be is only a vehicle to get you to what you really are supposed to be. Okay? Meaning you might be like, oh, I'm a rapper. I'm the best rapper in the world, right? I got all these bars, right? And you've like, I can't get on. I can't get on. I can't get on. I can't get on. And then you hit a wall and you look at yourself in the mirror. Well, maybe rapping ain't what you're supposed to do. You done met all these contacts. You done figured out all these people, right? Maybe you should be on the other side. Maybe you know how to help other rappers get through what you went through. You might be a really, really prolific manager. right? You might be a studio executive. Maybe your job is to create a studio and hire yourself and other people. I was blessed enough to sign Master P a couple days ago to his life rights to do his life as a series. I was blown away to find out he wasn't a rapper, he was an entrepreneur. He was a basketball player who got hurt, was in New Orleans living in the projects, had an idea to move to California to figure out life, ended up finding a place to live, which was a storefront. He had enough money to rent a storefront to live. The storefront, he looked at and was like, damn, I bet this could be something cool. He asked the man, can I use it? Can I make it a store? The dude was like, yeah. At the time, rap music was popping. People were selling CDs everywhere. He made a record store that was called No Limit Records. He wasn't an artist. He was selling Tupac and Too Short, and everybody that was in the Bay Area was coming through this little store. He was 19 years old. Eventually, somebody with an 8-track thing recording, he went over their house and went in the bathroom and was like, I'll try something. Because I got a store, maybe I could do this and put it in the store and sell my own stuff too. He ends up selling 250 million albums and becoming a billionaire. But that's why you see his mentality is different. He owns the store, he owns the brand, he put his whole family on, made them rappers, right? Like he figured it out. Now he got potato chips and shoes and whatever the hell else he got, you know what I mean? But it was a vehicle, right? So I'm telling you guys, if you feel like you're destined for one thing, the biggest problem that I see with us as young black men and women is we're scared to close that chapter and do something else. We're scared to say, "Oh, I'm not doing that no more," because most times I remember when I was first starting, people like, "Oh, you making them little movies, huh? You still doing them little movies over there?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm doing little movies over here." You know what I mean? Those little movies eventually make $100 million, right? Those little movies eventually become brands, right? Those little movies eventually become award-winning things that move your life into a different direction. So a lot of times people are scared to jump out and do different things. When you young, people are like, man, that's stupid you doing that. You know what I mean? Like, man, you acting? You know what I mean? Or you dancing? Yeah. You singing? Yeah. You know what I mean? Part of it is being solid with yourself and understanding that you're on something else. You're trying to get to some other place. You know what I mean? The kid that's weird, that put the pen in his clothes and be, dressing funky, and people are like, man, he crazy, right? Them kids end up being gigantic artists. They got a little bit of a different cycle early. They know what they're doing already. They're like, man, I'm into this. My daughter is one of them people. As a dad, I'm like, man, what you doing? Like, you crazy. Put makeup on her face and just, I said, man, you lost your damn mind. Like, come here, take that off your face. Then eventually I was like, oh, wait. When I went in the room and see she's drawing art and cutting clothes, and so I gotta be like, oh, I gotta step back, be like, oh, she's an artist. Now she has bloomed into a big artist. You know what I mean? But those little seeds is what I'm telling you guys. Grab onto those things. If you feel it and it's something that energizes you and you like it, pursue it. Pursue it like it's no tomorrow. Because life is really, really short. You wake up and it's almost over. Right? You blink your eyes and you like, damn, I'm 20. Then you blink your eyes, you 40 with kids. You know what I mean? Blink your eyes, you 50, talking about I should have. Right? So take advantage of that. The other thing I would tell you guys is, and this goes for all of us, because I've been very blessed as a filmmaker to actually have relationships with people that control social media and people that create politics and laws, and I've really nestled myself in with the White House and seeing how a lot of these things work. You guys don't be afraid to turn social media off. Okay? No one's going to tell you that. Turn it off. Sometimes you have to decompress. Young kings, queens back there, turn it off because you guys are getting locked into what's called programming. All right? And systematically, it is built for you to be stuck in the same world you're going to be in for the rest of your life. Listen to what I'm telling you. It is, but that's why I said change your channel. Change your channel. If you get up in the morning, and that's for the, adults as well, older people as well, turn the channel. You get up in the morning, first thing you do is put on Pooh Shiesty, right? Or whoever, Vaughn, whatever it is. Then the next thing you do is you grab that phone and you scroll for an hour, and all you looking at is violence, girls, cars, money to the ear, violence, cars, money to the ear, girl, right? Shoes, right? Then you turn on the TV, and then all you watching is whatever that thing is, right? That show, violence, cocaine, dope, hustle. When you do that 7, 8 days in a row, you programmed. Y'all don't know it because it's above your pay grade, but you are now programmed. You got an attitude, you upset, you trying to figure it out. Next thing you do, you hustling because you trying to figure out, I want to get them shoes. I want to get that car. I want to put the money to my ear. I need the Louis belt. Everybody got it. This is called programming. The biggest misconception of that is everybody on Instagram lying. They all lying. The same way you like, I got to get all that stuff is the same way that person you looking at is doing the same thing you finna be doing. I ain't got shit, but I'm finna get the belt, right? I ain't got $5, but I got a Louis Vuitton belt on. Like, turn it off. Turn it off. If you want to get out of the environments that you're in, you want to find new worlds, you really want to find wealth, turn all that off and run your own race. And I say that because that's what I had to do as a director. As a filmmaker, I got out of the environment by using basketball. I was blessed enough to not have to deal with the phone, right? But later in life, when you are a struggling artist, you're trying to figure out, damn man, how he get that movie? And how they get that much money? And how they shooting that? It's the same thing, what I'm telling you. So now you're going like, man, am I not good enough? Do I not have what it takes to be able to compete? Why don't I get an opportunity? Finally, I was like, I'm going to just stop looking at what everybody's doing and just do my own thing. And it made my life 1,000 times better when I stopped looking at what Tyler Perry was doing. I stopped looking at what Spike Lee was doing. I stopped looking at the time what John Singleton was doing. I just started looking at what I want to do. Then I decided like, oh, okay, well, how do I fit in? What makes me different? And my mission was a lot different than them because I wanted to be the first filmmaker of color to jump genres. So what does that mean? When I came into the space, I was a big fan of horror movies. Like I loved them. Like you can't tell me a horror movie I ain't never seen. Right? So I'm like, oh yeah, that like I saw like all those films were like to me growing up. I'm like, yo, that's it. Like I love that Nightmare on Elm Street. So I wanted to make those movies first. But then I also loved movies like Predator, right? And sci-fi movies. And then I also love comedy. So you love Friday and Eddie Murphy and Beverly Hills Cop. And so my appetite for film was like all over the place. But the first couple meetings I went to, I would go in a meeting and say, they said, what kind of movies you want to make? I said, man, I want to make this kind of movie. I want to make that kind of movie. I want to make, and they'd be like looking at me crazy because they like, he's not focused. He's not focused. Most filmmakers that are focused, they do one thing really, really good, and that's it. So if you think about Tyler, you go, oh, he makes that. If you think about Spike, you go, oh, he makes that, right? Think about whoever, Antoine Fuqua, he makes that. And I'm going like, well, I don't want to make that. I want to make all of them, right? So then I had to study and I had to get out of my box. And then I shortly found out that Steven Spielberg, who we're not even looking at, because I'm in this box looking at black directors, Steven Spielberg has done E.T., Color Purple, and Jaws. Don't none of that go together. So I want to be like him. So now I create my brand where over the course of years I'm able to do Meet the Blacks, Black and Blue, The Intruder, Chain Letter, Traffic, and now that's accepted because I built that world. So now when I go into a studio, I can now say, MGM, I want to do Blackula. And they say, okay, green light, go make that. I can go to Universal and say, I want to do John Lewis. And they say, green light, go do that. Right? Go to Blumhouse and say, I want to do a horror film in this world. Go do it. Because I've showed you I can do all of them and I did not allow you to let me be put in a box. All right? So you guys don't let anyone box you in. So a lot of those things are like basketball. You know what I mean? Like you gotta you don't let them box you in. You get around, play defense. Like you gotta understand you're playing a game, right? But the biggest parts of the game is to always make sure you're authentic. Your truth is worth a gazillion dollars. The minute that you start trying to be someone else, they already got that person. The minute you start imitating and becoming something that you've seen, they already got that. We need you to be who you are. Okay? So whoever you are, you have to be the best you. That's going to give you the best value. Whoever you are, that's going to be the best you. That's going to give you the best value. Everyone is different. When I think about like Michael K, who just died, right? We didn't understand how great he was till he died. People was like, "Oh yeah, I seen him in." Then you start being like, "Damn, I seen him in, I seen him in everything." He was different in everything, but he was almost one of the most authentic actors we had. When you really think about it now, because now you'd be like, "Damn, who gonna do them parts?" Street Cat, right? East Coast, Buck 50, black as hell, braids. Who would have ever thought he would have been an actor? That's real. He was one of the best, right? So what I'm saying is it always turns, but you have to be yourself. The other thing is be truthful with yourself, man. Be honest. Too many times, man, we're trying to be something else and we're lying to ourselves. You got to do the work. This is like a microwave society we're in right now. You think that you could just step in and be like, I'm finna act. And you jump right in and it ain't work for 6 months. You like, man, I tried that shit. Like no, it don't work like that. It takes time. It takes energy. The first time I went in my office to shoot the season finale of Power, he was on my wall. I had all the cast on the wall. He was on my wall. Picture of him, number whatever the hell you was, 110, whatever he was up there with his headshot, right? And I seen all these kids up there, Gary and Chicago and from all over, Chris and I was like, man, this is dope because if I ask each of them how they got here, they're gonna all tell me a different journey. They're gonna all be like, man, I tried, I did to try to fail. You know what I mean? It took me this. I got one little thing, then I didn't get nothing for 2 years, and that's part of the journey. Part of the journey is going through failure so you can get to where you want to go. It's not about the slam dunk. It's not about the touchdown. It's about how you got there. That's what builds the character. And we lose that a lot. Yesterday, I visited my house right there on Johnson Street, and I was telling people like on Instagram, I was like, yo, this is where I came from. You know what I mean? Like, but that journey from that house to where I live now, to being who I am now, has made me who I am. If you, if you, if I give you $1,000,000 right now, you're gonna lose it. You want it. You know what I mean? You want it. You like, yeah, I got this. I'm finna, you're gonna lose it. That's why most NFL, NBA guys are broke before they're 30 years old. You guys just seen 19 NBA guys go to jail 2 days ago. They all had 20, 30, 40, $50 million. They hadn't lived life. They don't know how to deal with that money. They don't know how to hold that money. They don't know how to control that money. Sometimes it's greater later. So the journey is go through the journey, get the bumps. Right now, as an actor, you're going through the journey. You're going to do this, then you're going to go do something else. You're going to get cut from something. Somebody going to say you ain't good enough. You're going to pop up again. Eventually, there's going to be one little role that you do that takes you to the moon, right? But it's all those moments that's going to remind you when you start going, you're going to remember the hurt. When you start being successful, you're going to remember the no's. So when they start telling you you got to be here at 6 o'clock in the morning, you're not gonna be like, "No, I'm gonna get up there around 7:30." No, you there early because you remember. Some of these guys get these opportunities, they don't even show up. So then they gone, up, down, and out. You know what I mean? So it's about, can you keep the energy? Can you remember how you got there? What did you do? What was the work ethic? Acting is like sports. Creating, writing is like sports. Are you working on your craft? Because you will run into someone that will eat your lunch. I tell this story all the time. Tyrese, a good friend of mine. Tyrese was kind of like going through some stuff in Hollywood. He had made an Instagram video and people was laughing at him. And Hollywood was like, hey, we're going to put him over here. He was going through some stuff with The Rock. And Tyrese, one of the most beautiful people I know. You sit down with this dude, you be like, man, like you just want to hug. He's like that type of guy. I'm casting a movie for Sony called Black and Blue. Naomi Harris is going to be the lead in this film. Thespian, incredible. This is real. So now she in Venom and James Bond, but she's always been that great. Nominated for an Oscar for Moonlight. Anyways, Tyrese, I said, man, T, you got to come. I want you to do the movie. It was all these people, and I wanted Tyrese. So Tyrese comes. He does the movie. But Tyrese is like us, right? He's like, yeah, I'll show up. He good. He got the gift, right? We can wing it. All of us in this room can wing it. Like, damn, I don't know shit, but I'm going to just smile and say some shit and I'm going to get through. We all know that. We all know that, right? You could do it sometimes in the classroom until the test come, right? Until they be like, they don't know nothing, right? So the test, you can't lie to the test. You like, all right, I'll do this. And so he got that energy. He's got that charisma. We all have that. We access that as black people. So we get on set, and I can see it as a director. Like Naomi Harris is like, Dion, can we meet for a minute? I'm like, sure. What do you want? Line 3. It says that word is wrong, isn't it? And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. Like, so she's like, I'm like, yo, she like a Michael Jordan. Kobe, you know what I mean? She in it. Like she at the gym. She working out. Like she ready to go tomorrow. She has multiple things to think about. She's from England, so she has to have a New Orleans accent. So she's been with a coach for 3 months, right? She's not used to running or being a cop, so she's riding around the streets with cops so she can learn, how does cops move? What do they say? How do they hold the gun? What does a black female cop go through? She's doing all of that. Tyrese show up. Right? So he like, man, let's do this, do that. And he has his own method, you know what I mean, of what he's going to do. Well, when they run neck to neck to each other, couple scenes, I say, action. And they go. And she's looking like he doesn't remember that line or he didn't hit that mark. And she's like, she's waiting for his lines. And he is doing what he does and what we do all the time. So finally I had to go and say, T, we got to sit down. He like, man, she a beast. Huh? I said, yeah, man, like she a beast. And we got like, we losing. You know what I mean? So he like, all right. So I watched Tyrese go to his camper, his trailer. I watched Tyrese turn pages and write notes and circle things and study and study and study and study and come back. And then I watched him get on set with her and eat her ass up. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. You can't wing it no more, right? You can't wing it at nothing you want to do in life. Right now, it's about if you're going to wing it, you're going to get wing it results. If you're going to do the work, you're going to get work results. And this craft, anything you guys are applying yourselves to, it doesn't matter. If you have your own company, understand that company is going to break. It is not going to work. It is going to fall apart. But you have to stay with it. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. If it was, oh, let me just go get an LLC. And now I'm Sugar Shack. Right? And everybody gonna come to Sugar Shack. No, like, what are you doing? Like, how are you marketing it? How are you pumping your soul into it? You have to have what I like to call a metaphysical death before you get to the other side of anything. That means it's going to be a moment in your life where everything is gone. You've lost it all. You've exhausted everything you have, and you like, God, I don't have no more. Period. Not the fake. I'm down. Like I'm down, down. You have to have that moment where they slide the floor from under you. Everything you thought the truck you bought was supposed to be for the company is repossessed. The rent 3 months due, right? Everybody laughing at you. You got to have that moment where you just on the ground with nothing, and then it'll start working. Don't ask me why, but that's what has to happen. You have to crack and break in order for these things to burst through and for you to help. You have to study and apply yourself. And part of what we are not doing enough of is what I'm telling you, which is going into the fire. If you don't want that company, then you got to go make that company. The reality is this: everyone has a number. What is your number? And that's why I'm going back to you being truthful. Some people's number is a brand new Hyundai, a 1 bedroom apartment, and a job. And the weekend, I go dance. That's their number. If they could upgrade that car and upgrade that apartment, they really did it. Some people number is I want a house, a car, but I want 2 more properties in 2 other cities, and I want my own business. And this, what's your number? What do you want? Are you at peace having just this? And that's fine. That's fine. My dad worked in the steel mill for 34 years. When he retired, bring him to California, he started working on the movie sets with us, for sweeping. I'd be like, man, what you doing? I'm sweeping this shit up. I said, man, Dad, you had to sweep the stuff, man. No, I'm gonna sweep this shit up. Then he go do something else. So finally, I said, Dad, you want to try to do some stuff? He's like, yeah, I want to try. He ended up working in different departments. I'm like, Dad, go over there. You want to work with them guys? Like, yeah, I'm working the wardrobe. Want to work over there with them guys? You want to come sit with us? Like, he started working and getting a check. And one day he came to me and was like, man, I'm 30 years behind, huh? And I was like, yeah, but he realized that he had programmed his life to this, right? A pension, 5 o'clock in the morning, get up, 4 o'clock, get off, jog, house, car, dog. You know what I mean? But he wanted more. And later in life, he was able to start seeing what that is. So I'm telling you guys is deprogram. At some point, you got to figure out, like, I'm jumping out the plane. I'm going to get out the matrix, and I'm finna go try to figure out how do I make myself happy, because it's not about you. It's about the family that comes after you. What are you building for later? Moms, dads, grandparents, what are you building for later? So your kids, your youngins, your friend, they don't have to go through what you've been through. My sons, my daughter, I'm trying to build it where they don't never have to live on Johnson Street. As much as I loved it and as much energy as I get from it, I don't ever want them to have to heat the house with the oven. I don't want them to have to do any of that. Holes in the bottom of your shoes. You know what I mean? Light bill in your name at 8. That might be going over y'all heads, but I want them to learn credit and understand that you could be successful, man. The one thing they don't ever tell us that you can win. You don't have to lose, none of us. You can win. And the more that you win, the more you understand that this system is built for you to lose, but it's also loose enough for you to win. You know what I mean? So we have to, I tell this Roxanne all the time. I say, man, you got to run 20 races just to get to the race. So you get to the race where they at, and you already going, you know what I mean? And they just getting ready to start. That's what it is. You got to go through you got to go through Gary, you know what I mean? To get to the starting blocks where most of the people that you're up against are starting at. And it's not fair, but it's what we have to do. But it's also a moment for us to actually be able to change our narrative in terms of who we are and what we are. So, anyways, with that being said, I would love to open it up for any questions about film, television, anything.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Ahmad. Question I have for Dion is definitely when you touched on like, cause what I think it is comparison. You know what I'm saying? Like being in the industry, I know a lot of child actors. I know a lot of people that's higher in the ropes than me, below me. But like with me for a while, I would say I'm getting out of it now, like how you touched on it. But what when you got out of it, what helped you stay the course and stay that path? Because it's very easy to compare yourself, like how you were saying. So, what do you think after you got out of that mindset? What made you stay that way instead of doubling back?
Yeah, I think it's a muscle, and I understand what you're saying. You know what I mean? Because I've run into a bunch of kids that are all Michael B. Jordan, right? Um, the reality is once you break that, it's a cycle that you have to get through in your mind where you're like, I cannot keep comparing myself to this person. That person is winning, so you want to be like him, right? Mike got the body, he got the chops. You know what I mean? He's sitting back. Sometimes it might be about not just looking at that person, but beginning to look at everyone, right? So can you get game from all of them? So you're going to always compare. But instead of you looking at Mike, maybe it's like, let me look at Denzel, let me look at Robert De Niro, let me look at a plethora of actors and take from them and compare to them versus comparing to one person. Because if you know, it's interesting. The best imitation I've ever seen in life was Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. But he became a beast. It was so well orchestrated. It was like, you know what I mean? But that's one in a gazillion that could do that. We all wanted to be Mike when we grew up. You know what I mean? Everybody wanted to put the tongue out and do the thing. But no one studied it like that. So what I'm saying is, don't get caught in that because it'll be your demise, right? Because the moment you walk in the room, and this is how you got to cut it off. The minute you walk in the room and you sound like him, or you move like him, or you do it like him, right? They're gonna be like, "Oh, he's like Michael B. Jordan." They're looking for you. So you have to make a commitment in your mind to be like, I have to be me, even if they turn me down. Even if they turn me down, because eventually someone's gonna hire you, and they have over and over again, right? So that would be what I'm telling you. Like you got to crawl through that system, but it's a mindset, man. It's a mentality. You have to work on being you. You have to work. Damn, I'm swaying that way. Nope, bring it back. You know what I mean? Jamie Foxx, really good friend, incredible. When I was around him during the time he did Ray, he became Ray. Okay, dangerously, dangerously, right? To where you got to like get him out of that world. He understands how to become those things. Heath Ledger became the Joker. These are method actors that understand how to lock in and become something. They're not acting as someone else. That wasn't Jamie playing Denzel as Ray. That was Jamie, a complete slate going, I'm gonna become that. But in order for him to get to that spot, he had to be the most authentic him. Okay, so hopefully that helps a little bit.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. I'm Caitlin, and I got a 21st century. How long did it take you to get where you are?
Oh, 17 years. 17 years. And that's what I was saying about, and them guys back there in the back been with me for every step. They done seen it all. They done seen it all, man. They done seen the try, the fail, the fall down, the get up. That's what I was saying about the being able to stick with it, right? You might be a young, artist right now. You're like, oh, I'm trying to get through the thing. How old are you?
13.
13. Beautiful, tall, right? Everything is there. Might not hit for you till you 16. Are you willing to keep doing it, whatever it is you're trying to do? And what I'm trying to say is don't stop. The journey is the part. We come back here, 17 years later, and I'm like, man, this is crazy. Only last year, year before last, is when 2019, my world turned upside down. 2019 was the world where, and that was me after 14 years. 2019 was the first year only three directors in the world ever did what I did. I was the third. Tyler was one, James Cameron was the other, to release two movies in the same year worldwide theatrically. So in 2019, that flipped my whole world. I flipped. That's right. Thank you. So that was The Intruder and Black and Blue, which both opened in the top three in the world. As a matter of fact, Intruder opened against Avengers Endgame and was number two to Endgame, and that's how it all that turned the corner for me. So yeah, stay with it.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. My name is El Maria. I also go 21st century. And my question is, what was your motivation for making movies?
I love, like I told you guys before. I figured out it was a passion, and that's what I'm challenging you guys with. It might not be film. Find something that you really like and figure out how to do that. Find something that you're interested in, and you might not find it when you're younger. You might be bouncing around, but find something that you really like and do it. If you love cartoons, figure out how cartoons are made. Figure out who's writing cartoons. Figure out who's drawing cartoons, right? If you love reading books, do you have a book club? Are you creating? Do you want to write a book? What's your story? Have you written your story down? So for me, I found that over the course of me living my life, playing ball, going through whatever, being broke, the one thing that was a constant for me was movies. I was always like, damn, I can't wait to see that. You know what I mean? Like, damn, that come out on Friday. I was that dude. You know what I mean? And when we had the VHS tape, I was the one dude with my friends watching the same movie over and over and over and knowing all the lines. To this day, me and my friend call each other on the phone and do Predator together. Get to the chopper. We do the whole damn, and we some damn fools. So I was like, okay, well, this got to be what I need to be doing. You know what I mean? So find something you love and apply yourself to it. When you like it, it doesn't become work anymore. So whatever that is, it could be, oh man, I love braiding my friend's hair. You might need to start looking to open up your own braiding business. So I don't know what your love might be or your idea. Oh, I do security. I really like protecting people. Where's your security company? What's the highest ranking can you get to? What's the highest level of that can you do that at? So hopefully that helps.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Passion Jefferson. I am the drama teacher over at Westside Leadership Academy. We spoke yesterday. We had an
Yes.
opportunity to speak with my students, so I want to thank you personally. I'm an actress turned writer director, and I decided that if they're not going to give me the roles, I'm going to write it. And so, as a younger black woman, I would ask, what advice would you give to writers, young writers, and directors into cracking open into the business, getting like managers or agents or something like that, so that you can push forward to do your own thing.
Yeah, I would say that. Congratulations, by the way. So that's the right mentality. They're not gonna hire you. You do your own thing and put yourself in it. Robert Townsend. All right. So what has to happen is, I tell people this all the time. Understand that entertainment and film is a business. So you can't always look at it as an artist. Meaning, if someone says, "Oh, I'm going to go make a short," you're going to write a short, and I would recommend doing a short, right? You're going to write a short, and you're going to take that short and you're going to put yourself in it, right? And you're like, "Oh, this is the short that I want to make. It's going to be 14 minutes, 20 minutes, and it's going to be, I'm doing this in it. They're going to see me." Look at that short in two different ways. Number one, look and make sure that you can do a short that actually works so it can compete. You want to take that short and you want to make the best piece of material so that you can submit it to Sundance and Cannes and Chicago Film, wherever you want it, wherever it needs to go. But the business side of that short, Miss Director, writer, right, actress, the business side of that is it also a backdoor pilot for something bigger? Is it a backdoor pilot for the feature I want to make? Right? That's what we lose a lot. We'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna make this thing, and it's about this, and it's about that." And you'd be like, "Okay, well, what's the business side of it?" So, Issa Rae created this thing on YouTube, and it became right what it is. And now all those ideas she had, but she first created the short, right, and put herself in the short and wrote the short, and then the short became the TV show, right? So I would say do a short, but also take your writing samples. Learn about writing samples. Okay, start submitting writing samples. Start getting on Instagram and hitting other writers and DMing them. Hey, it doesn't matter how small, how big. Hey, can I send something to you I wrote? Let people read your samples. At the same time, keep the machine running. You got to shoot a whole bunch of bullets. So you writing, you shooting your short, you still auditioning. You know what I mean? One of those three things is gonna happen for you if you keep doing it. It cannot not happen. So, anyways, that's it. Yeah.
Yes, if you have questions, just we have yes. Yes. These two up here. I'm sorry. You first.
Hello, Will Bowman here. I love film a whole lot. And I've talked to you a couple times on Instagram. I just want to ask you, like, you've been doing pretty good doing films and stuff. Uh, I love everything you do. Uh, Period piece. Would you ever dig into that?
Yeah. So we're doing a period piece now, two of them. We're doing John Lewis, which is obviously doing the civil rights movement. But then I'm also doing a project with the producer of Parasite called Grave Hill, which is set in 1860. So we start that next year. But yeah, I'm all, yeah, I love it, man. Yes. And if you got one, I'd love to read it.
Okay.
All right. Yes.
How you doing? Good morning.
Good.
My name is Demoris Burrows. I'm signed with Hayes Talent. So the question I have is, also I'm a filmmaker as well. I write and direct too. Would you ever produce like an indie project?
Yeah, 100%. Part of, so you're what's called, and you are as well, a multi hyphenate. You guys are really, really like in demand in the industry right now. I'm a multi hyphenate. So that means you do everything. That means you write, direct, produce, shoot, whatever the hell you want to do, you can do it. Yes. So our company is Hidden Empire. We just formed a distribution outlet right now. We could actually distribute films too. But yeah, the whole energy right now is to find films, get behind projects, and produce them. If obviously, if they have the pedigree of what we want it to be. But the answer is yes.
And what was the name of that company again?
Hidden Empire. Yeah.
Hidden Empire.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Hidden HIDDEN Empire. and this film group. And if you go on Instagram and just look up Hidden Empire, you can. We have a thing where you can submit, do everything there too. Yes.
Mr. Taylor, thank you for
Yes.
coming out, man. My name is Dan and Everett. Thank you for hope, man. You were talking about your dad, how he kind of got, he worked for so many years and
Yeah.
realized, like, man, I should be doing something else. And as a single dad, I'm a nurse and I'm kind of there now. You know
Wow.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I went to an audition and got the lead role, but now, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And I'm like, yo, man, I could be doing something else. But my thing, but I just want to thank you for um, coming here, man. Appreciate that.
Oh, thank
like,
you so
as
much.
a father, man, I just sometimes brothers, you just need a little hope, man. I appreciate that.
Thank you, brother, for that, man. And I would also tell you, man, like, stay with it, man. I mean, stay with it, man. Like, if you got that, whatever that is, that means there's plenty more for you to get. You know what I mean? So you have to now figure out the Hollywood way, which is, some cats out there working on movies and busting tables. You know what I mean? But you got to juggle right now because if you should be up there with him in Chicago doing what you do, getting that baby from school, doing whatever the hell that is, and being like, I gotta be there at 3. You know what I mean? You going? You know what I mean? So stay with it, man. Yes.
Hello. I just want to say that you are absolutely right because I work in a camera union in Chicago, and what I do is a digital imaging technician. So I work with the director and the DP, do the coloring, do the footage, and there's only one of me. So, like, out of the whole Chicago area, there's like one black person. But I also do directing too, and I just applied for the Sony directing program to shadow.
Wow.
So I want your experience with shadowing. Like, do you think that's a good idea? Or do
Yes.
you continue to just create content?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think first of all, congratulations to you, man. And there's a group I work with in LA right now on my sound team, who I got from I inherited from John Singleton, and they for a long time have been the only sound mixers that are black in Hollywood. So what I'm explaining to you guys, if y'all here, man, whoever y'all get his phone number, right? This is the opening, and be like, brother, can I just meet with you to find out how to do that job? Because at the end of the day, this is going to be where Hollywood has to get better. Chicago has to get better. There's nowhere in the world he should be the only person doing that job. So, that's right, man. So, but yes, shadowing I think is amazing, and I'll give you my information too. Like if you guys are you moving around, I'm going to be coming here. We're setting it up now. I have to figure out the schedule, but I am going to be shooting Blackula here with MGM. So the the idea would be is to between Chicago and Gary, and the idea for me is going to be to hire almost 100 people from this marketplace to work on that big film. So yeah.
Okay, I know I said that was the last one, but this one will be the last one. But I also want to remind you guys before you leave to leave all of your information at the front desk, emails and things of that nature, because as Mr. Taylor just shared, he plans to really invest in this area. So this is a good thing. So please make sure that we have all of your information as we're working together to make sure that that happens.
Yeah, I would say one more thing, and I know I'm gonna get up and run out of here to catch my flight, but I would tell you guys this: the list she's talking about, what I'm asking her to do for me is, in about 2 weeks from today, if you could leave all your stuff, we will email. I want to do a Zoom and catch up with everyone on a Zoom. And what I'll do on the Zoom is I want to be everyone could free to join. It'll just be us. And what I want to do is answer more questions and give you guys more information on that Zoom. So if you could really leave your stuff there, I want to create a world where we could start talking every other month. We could tap that Zoom. We could all get on. We could all communicate and figure out how I could be helpful. Okay. So your film and all that, you send me all that stuff. We get into it. All right. Yeah.
I'm Markel Watkins. First of all,
Markel!
what's up, D? First of all, I know y'all like Dion do all the stuff with the movies and stuff, and that's great. And when I called him and I said, hey, I'm doing a bike drive, he said, money, get the bikes. I called him and said, hey, he seen I was doing a food drive with Faith Farm. back, and I know it's a lot more you're gonna do, man. And I appreciate it. And you are a beacon of light on the city of Gary, man. And we look forward to working.
Thank you for that, man. Man, well, let's also give a round of applause for Markel, man. This dude out here, man. Hey, man, this is how it changes. I'm straight up, Markel. Like being able to have a link to you to understand that you actually out here doing it means everything, man. You know what I mean? The fact, and it's been a couple times where I like, he like, man, you don't need no receipt, nothing. I'm like, I don't need shit, like, cause I know you gonna do it. You know what I mean? And I feel like, man, you're a special person, Markel, for real, man. So thank you for what you're doing. But we gonna keep doing it.
Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
While we're doing that, I just want to recognize Markel, and we have another Gary International Black Film Festival Award recipient in the house as well. Markel is this year's one of our Impact Award recipients that will be taking place tomorrow at Indiana University, but it's by invitation only, but it will be live streamed. And as well as this instructor here that have all these young people, Miss McKenya Dilworth, who's actually, stand please. Yes, she's actually the recipient of our fellow committee person who's no longer with us, and we honor him with the Kalachuku Brinfrey Vanguard Award, and she is the recipient of that award. That's a very powerful award there. Markel can attest to that. So those, please get your tickets. It will be live streamed. We will be in studio conversation with Gary Dennis Hines and the Sounds of Blackness at that award ceremony. Three-time Grammy winner will be handing them their awards. How awesome is that? Also, what Dion alluded to, his first love, tonight at Indiana University Northwest, black female horror director, Red Pill, will be screening at the drive-in tonight. So definitely go online, get your tickets. You can get tickets here as well. Thank you, Dion. Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause.